So today, very good evening to everyone. So today we are going to discuss about the role of probiotics in shrimp aquaculture. So I'm basically a master's in microbiology from VIT University Vellore. So when I started doing my microbiology, even same like you all, my students, even I don't have any idea about what I'm going to do and how microbiology is going to help me in this science field where I'm going to work. So when the starting stage onwards, I like aquaculture, especially fishes. Like I used to keep aquarium in my home and I used to watch them how they are swimming, what are the problems they are facing, either oxygen problem or it's ornamental only, but I like aquarium. So there I started thinking about fishes. So when I started doing my PhD in biotechnology, I thought I should go for aquaculture, which should be useful to the farmers. Then, when I started doing my review articles, I saw there are a lot of farmers under the industry, especially aquaculture, is facing lot of pathogenic microbial problems and lot of diseases in the pond and other environments associated with them. So I thought, as a microbiologist graduate, what I can do for the aquaculture industry and how it will be helpful to the farmers. So with this mind, I started doing my research. So I thought the probiotics, a good beneficial microbes, which will help the host, which is shrimp or fishes, by reducing the risk of pathogens or bringing them into the sustainable manner, which farmers will be disease free, and the shrimps and fishes are good in weight in terms of growth. Definitely, it will be a helpful. It will be helpful to farmers. So in this, when I started doing my research, I read lot of research articles about the probiotics, who is doing what, where they're done, and who are all reported what are the merits and demerits, advantage, what and disadvantages, everything. When I am doing that, I come to know a lot of bacillus species, lactobacillus species, everything involved in this, and most of the studies in probiotics, especially, have been discontinued in the laboratory itself. It didn't reach till the land, which means we'll do research, we'll do something on laboratory and small scale experiments, and we will not do in big experiments, and it will be stopped. The candidate, like a PhD candidate or MPhil candidate, he will also close his chapter and he will move out. So with that report, somebody will continue, and that also will be in the minimum laboratory level studies only. Then, when the 2008, especially the WSSC white spot syndrome virus outbreak in aquaculture, there are a lot of research institutes came with a lot of medicines, curatives, anti antimicrobial drugs, that this and all, but nothing is working on till now. So people are trying to do with somewhat probiotics only, but 100% probiotics will not cure all kind of diseases, but 100% probiotics will help in curative. There are two types: preventive or curative. Prevention is better than cure. So don't think about curative, think about prevention. So how we can prevent the our aquaculture system with the use of beneficial microbes like probiotics. So coming to the point, uh, this only we are discussing from last 4 days. The lot of uh, big shots in this industry have been discussing about the disease management in various sector. So today we are going to see about what are the role of probiotic microbes and its role in aquaculture. So I am telling this. So what I did after when I'm doing my PhD, that time I discovered two three microbes, which is a consortium of microbes, including of Nitrosomonas, Nitrobacter, Arthrobacter, and Bacillus, and one Lactobacillus. Together, all I developed one product. With that product, I, I started my own company, and I manufactured on my own with my fermenter that products, and and I have launched the product. The name is Grow Biotic, GROBIOTIC, which is growing biotics in your aquaculture pond. So with Almighty the God support, the product have been reached in the market with a good name, and the results were very nice. So from there only we have I started my journey, even my with my support of my teammates, people who are all working for my company. Everybody supported me, especially the products spoke in the market. It's really worked, so automatically the product will sell in the market. Like that I started my journey in this field as an entrepreneur. Before that, I was working for 2 3 companies as a regional manager, as a product manager, as a scientist in charge. So where I used to give compositions and working for technical guidance for the company growth and all. So we have a lot of opportunities for science students, especially for biotechnology and microbiology. You can ask, sir, I'm a biotechnology student. I'm a microbiology student. Why from last 4 days we are discussing about aquaculture? What is the industry is going to do for us? Yes, there is an opportunity. That also I'll let you know in the last 4 3 slides. We'll discuss about that. And I'm always student oriented, and still I'm a student only, because learning is never going to stop, and we are going to learn only always. In this term, what I want to tell you is, yes, aquaculture industry is going to feed you. Yes, microbiology student, my dear biotechnology students, here we have a big opportunity. You can see during this pandemic also, entire industry is collapsed. Have you heard that agriculture and aquaculture is collapsed? No. The production or the production facility or the production import or the goods moving facility may be stopped. But this farming and farm oriented products didn't, nobody stopped anything, because it's essential. Till the last human breathing going to breathe in this world, he need a food. So food industry is not going to die in the world. So what I want to suggest to you is, whatever you want to do, come into the food field. Food is not going to die, and food is a very long lasting business. Come to agriculture, come to aquaculture, do whatever you want, but be in the food field. See, now I'm running around 2 private limited companies and 3 LLP, which everything is in food. Vetbiotics, it's focused on aquaculture, fishes and shrimps, feed and feed supplements, and feed manufacturing and the medicine manufacturing, everything. Riddhi Feeds is focusing on especially on fish products and fish byproducts, waste, and export these things. And we have started now yeah, Riddhi seafood export also, and seafood local consumption. And recently I have started one supermarket, a normal one, a vegetable, fruits, and a grocery. So why I am keep on in this food field, do you know? The same reason. Food industry is not going to die, and food industry nobody going to stop. Whatever the pandemic happens, this is going to happen. So better, there is a proverb recently, somebody told that science plus uh, mind is equal to sense equal to success. Yes, science plus sense, that is equal to science. Science, we are a microbiology or biotechnology student. Put some sense, use the sense in the right path, definitely there is a success. I'm telling you, don't think about how I'm going to work, how I'm going to do something for some company, this company, RNA, DNA, barcoding, that coding, this coding. Don't think about. Think about your job opportunity, something beyond yourself. Keep aside. Think about how you are going to do something for the aquaculture or agriculture industry, how you are going to become an entrepreneur in this field, how you are going to make money out of that. Please think about that. So let's discuss about this today's topic. Coming to the point, role of probiotics in aquaculture. Same like other industries, constantly request, every industry requests new techniques in order to increase the production and yield, including aquaculture and agriculture, whatever it is. The modern technology with the help of science, definitely there is opportunity for biotechnology. It helps in agriculture and aquaculture in a different manner. People are getting good yield because of this science. So that is what I'm saying. Science plus sense equal to success. Science people are giving their outputs every MPhil and every PhD and every research matters to the industry. Because of your reporting, because of your original data, that is what the industries and the farmers are going to benefited, and we are following. So you, the future of India, students, I'm telling you, you are the future of India, and this aquaculture and agriculture, this is the future of India. This both going to do a big hit in the future, I'm telling you. So focus on food industry. So feeding and new practices in farming usually play a important role aquaculture. So probiotics, what is probiotics, sir? Probiotic, we all know it's an beneficial microbes which is bio-friendly agents which will be there everybody's, every living human beings and every living thing's body. So when the human being when he is getting the first probiotic bacteria in his or her stomach, yes, from the mother's milk has probiotics that is giving you the antimicrobial agents that is preventing you from the diseases. Yes, so every living things has probiotic beneficial microbes on their gut. Okay, so there are two types of bacteria, which is pathogen and probiotic. Pathogens are harmful bacteria, and all the pathogens are not harmful to all the host. Some bacteria are harmful to the human beings, some are not harmful to the animals. So there are difference in that. When you doing your masters in microbiology, you will get to know all that. So probiotics are generally a non-pathogenic or non-toxic microorganisms without undesirable side effects when administered to aquatic microorganisms or any other organisms. Of course, when human we are considering, and there are a lot of laws from the FAO, WHO, everything, like when you are making one drug to the human being, it should be non-toxic, this should be non-pathogenic. Yes, of course, we have to take care of our animals also. You take any animals, from large animals to small animals, from fishes to cow, buffalo, or anything from the wild animals, we think about it should be non-pathogenic. And in terms of, I'm talking about probiotic, in terms of it is non-toxic and non-pathogenic. So the selective of beneficial microbial strain in this manufacturing is very important. So the probiotic is a live microbial feed supplement that have beneficial effect on the host by improving its intestinal microbial balance. This is the statement given by a lot of scientists when coming to the human being. So it, the probiotic bacteria, we know it has, we have that in curd, we have that in bread, yeast, we have that in milkshakes, we have probiotics in lassi, we have milk, we have probiotics uh, in other lot of sources also. Whatever you are eating, like idli dosa, do you think idli dosa doesn't have any probiotic? No, there are a lot of probiotics in idli dosa, like bacillus from yeast, everything is there in your. Without that, how it's getting fermented, how your batter is coming up. So in our daily life, we are taking lot of beneficial microbes in our stomach, and with the help of fruits and other digestive enzymes, it is getting developed, and it's, you are maintaining a good health in your body. So enhancement of digestive enzymatic activity, production of antimicrobial compounds. Yes, as a microbiologist and biotechnologist, you know that all the beneficial microbes will um, they leave two kind of metabolites, primary metabolites and secondary metabolites. That is the antimicrobial compounds which is utilized by your body to prevent from all the pathogens and diseases. So activation of human defense, inhibitory activity against pathogen, promotion of growth and survival of the host, and biodegradation of, when coming to the aquaculture, water quality, pond bottom and soil biodegradation, and it should be environmental friendly. So probiotics should be basically environment friendly and non-toxic, non-pathogenic. This is called probiotics. So what probiotic is? The beneficial microbes, I told you. Why? To raise the health level of the host, to increase the production, to decompose the organic matter in the pond bottom, to keep the animal healthy, to fight against the pathogens. This is why we need beneficial microbes. With the use of beneficial microbes, we can reduce the use of chemical and antibiotics in the farming. You know, when your beneficial bacteria is a army which is fighting against to the non sorry against to the pathogenic bacteria, of course you can do a wonderful farming with your organic farming. It's called with the beneficial bacteria. Now it's turned into biofloc technology. Biofloc technology, now everybody is talking about biofloc technology. Biofloc technology, which is nothing without beneficial bacteria. So where novel microbes can be always obtained from untapped extreme ecosystems only. Yes, you have to bring the microbes, you have to isolate the microbes from the extreme resources and the extreme ecosystem when before stocking and during culture, when we have to apply and when we have to use before leaving the animals in the pond, and during the entire culture you have to use the probiotics. So how to use and what are the available probiotics, etc., we'll see in the slide. So coming to this industry, this shrimp farming, it's going to hit somewhere in the global shade, and we are in second place. And fish farming, crab farming, whatever aquatic based animals you take, there is a use of probiotics, and there is a wonderful production because of the use of probiotics in the aquaculture industry. So world fish production also is keep on increasing. This side why I want to show to you is this world fish production, which is food production is keep on increasing. I told you food sector is never ending sector. Nobody going to stop you. This is going to do a miracle production, and somewhere in the upcoming 2030. And in top 10 fish production countries also, you saw India is in second place. And we have a good opportunity here with the help of good organic and probiotic farming. So aquaculture management basically with the soil, water and animal health. These three under probiotics only. So how the probiotics will help in soil and water and animal health? Will tell you. There are beneficial microbes. Every bacteria has its own survival zone. Some bacteria will live only in soil, which is soil loving bacteria. Some bacteria only lives in water, which is water loving bacteria, and floating bacteria or spore forming like that. And some bacteria only will live in animal gut. Okay, so because depends on the every animal and human being, everyone has different pH and different physiochemical parameters in their body. So according to that only, that kind of bacteria will going to survive. So soil loving microbes, water loving microbes, animal health microbes, these are all comes under probiotics only. We in the industry we called water probiotic, soil probiotic, and animal gut probiotic we call, gut for intestine. So gut probiotic we'll call. So when there is the infection in the animal, infection in the animal, in the gut or in the body, we'll give gut probiotic, which includes of some kind of bacillus or whatever it is, whatever the probiotics is going to help in terms of clearing the gut. Water probiotic, water, yes, if you see lot of pathogenic bacteria in your water, definitely will apply water probiotic. Water probiotic will help in clearing the pathogens from the water, as well as increasing the phytoplankton and zooplankton production in the water. And soil probiotic, probiotic is also called as pond bottom probiotic, because it plays a big role in aquaculture, soil probiotic. Because in aquaculture system, the entire culture, the whatever the feed you are using, whatever the and a feed supplement you are giving, and whatever the animal waste, dead animals or the animal excretas, everything is going to settle in the pond bottom only. So every pond is getting polluted because of this unbiodegradable, non-biodegradable things in the pond bottom. So we need a lot of beneficial microbes, especially for pond bottom. That is pond bottom probiotic. Here we have a good management practices in aquaculture industry. Now 80% of the farmers are using probiotics in their own. That is a big achievement from last 10 years. So because when you are maintaining your system in the probiotic manner, definitely the feed intake, FCR, survival, weight, production, ecosystem, everything will be maintained very good, and the animals also will be stress free, disease free, because there is, if there is no toxic things in your pond bottom, definitely there will not be any gas, definitely there will not be a chance of growing more pathogenic bacteria. So these kind of things are cleared with the probiotic bacteria, so you can avoid, you can prevent from lot of issues your pond. Each and every pond have has their own physiochemical parameters, like fish pond, shrimp pond, and fresh water, and brackish water. So there are a lot of aquaculture. Aquaculture has been segregated in lot of terms with based on the water resource available. If it is brackish water, definitely it's salinity, it is uh, alkalinity, everything will be in different. And if it is in fresh water, definitely other parameters will be in different level. So for especially for shrimp, these are all the optimal level we have to maintain, and that will be maintained mostly here in all the ponds. So coming to the criteria for selection of probiotic for shrimp aquaculture, when you are selecting the beneficial microbes, it should be healthy animals during outbreak hours, screening of healthy animals during outbreak hours. Isolation of microbial strains. You have to isolate the beneficial bacteria, and evaluation for the probiotic potential. As you know, you are evaluating by antimicrobial test, production of inhibitory compounds. What are the antibiotics it is resistant and that is against bacteriocins, lysozymes, monostrain, and protease, hydrogen peroxide, organic acids, and these are all you have. These all you know when you are doing the research. What you are segregating in the to select the potential strain. All your masters and MPhil and PhD students will be knowing how we are isolating or how we are selecting the potential bacterial strains by based on their activity. So it will be in vitro and in vivo. So both experimental, we are selecting the potential bacterial strain. So the potential bacterial strain should be for, especially for aquaculture, it should be uh, what do you call, it should sustain in high salinity tolerance. So better to, my suggestion is to isolate a bacterial strain either from the pond or else from the salt tolerance areas, like you can take from salt pans, or in the ocean areas, or in the estuary areas, or in the black sea shore areas. Here and all you can see the lot of salt tolerating bacteria, because here in India, from the east coast to west coast, we have different salinities. You can take Gujarat, we have different salinities. You can take in Tamil Nadu, Pattikottai and Ramanathapuram, Chidambaram, Sirgari, and Pumbuga. This side and all, we have different salinity during the monsoon and during the summertime. You know, from you take from Andhra, starting from Nellore to where till the last Rajmundri, Kakinada, we have a big coastal belt where we are doing a lot of farming. But when you check the parameters, totally different. So when we are selecting the probiotic bacteria, it should be helpful to the all the farmers, and it should be salt tolerance, and it should be parameter tolerance. So accordingly, we have to select the probiotic bacteria. So there are a lot of economic valuation and registration procedures when becoming to the commercial products. So so when I told you, like when everybody have been stopped all the probiotic the research within the laboratory scale, or within a small level, nobody want to discuss it above or something. That is what my point of view I'm telling you, because even frankly I'm telling you, in the research, when you think about you want to develop a strain, or you want to keep one strain, or you have reported one strain, please come to the next level, or else the entire research or the entire effort of the PhD students or the guide taken is totally waste. When the science is not giving any opportunity, or it's not open to the farmer, it's not coming to the field as a product, definitely that research is a wasted time, a time wasted. So my suggestion is, whatever you are doing, just you are reported in NCBI, you have done your next level of research, wait for funding. If you want to do more research, wait for funding, or approach um, private companies. What they can do, or you can do with your own institution management. You can make your own product with the help of incubation centers. Now lot of incubation centers have been opened in all the universities with the UGC regulations, so they will help you. So come with the product. Every farmers, even I am a farmer, I have my own shrimp farming and fish farms in here. So what I'm telling is, everybody, even me, is looking for like some kind of research organizations or students like MPhil, PhD students or MSc people will give us some reports about a new strain or a new bacteria which is isolated, a new bacteria is reporting about some pathogens. So we'll be happy. That is your success. That is your success. That is the one you are going to give to the industry. So uh, whatever you're doing, come to make it as a commercial product in terms of probiotic. I'm telling you. So these are also some parameters when you are isolating your potential strain, plating samples or in a MRS agar medium and TSC or McConkey, isolation of maintenance of pure cultures. When you are doing your entire research, the culture should be in pure condition. It should not be mutant, or it should not be in another when you're coming with the, when you're ending your publication. So evaluation of potential, it should be on pH resistant, bile resistant, inhibitory compound production, in vitro adhesion, competitive assay, and all the parameters that you have to check. And especially it should be high saline tolerant bacteria, because we need that kind of bacteria only in this industry particularly, then only it will work. For example, I'll tell you, in the market there are a single company will sell two kind of probiotic in water. They will tell their marketing team to focus on, if you are having a fish farm, yes, it is a fresh water, use this probiotic. If you are having a shrimp farm, use this kind of probiotic. So they will, every company has two kind of two variety of probiotic. Why? Because all the that kind of two probiotics will have different natures. So that one probiotic will live in only high salt tolerant, so they will live in, so they will give that kind of probiotic to the Vanami culture or shrimp culture. When you're talking about fish culture, they'll give only fresh water. Means uh, salt, salt, which will not tolerate the salt concentration. So they are isolated from normal ones. So they will live here. So when you are isolating the microbes, it is a main concern. So you can choose curd sample also. Curd also has good saline, so you can isolate some microbes from that also, or from the batter also. Even I isolated from dosa batter and curd also some of the bacteria, but it didn't come to the last level when screening with this all kind of test. So we eliminated that kind of bacteria. So this probiotics, I told you, it has lot of work in the aquaculture environment. Number one, inhibition of pathogens. It will inhibit all the pathogens, or not all the pathogens. Seafood or the Vanami has a lot of pathogens when it's coming out. But when you're thinking about in the environment, it has two, three main pathogenic species, which is Vibrio cholerae, Vibrio parahemolyticus, Vibrio harvae, and Vibrio fischeri, and E. coli, and these are all the some bacteria which is giving lot of stress to the animal in aquaculture pond. So this kind of pathogenic pathogens should be eliminated. So when you are selecting your probiotic, think about what are the pathogen you are going to select for checking the antimicrobial activity. So that is very important when you're talking about seafood industry. In the seafood industry itself, there are a lot of pathogens. For example, if you go for seafood packing and all, they are facing a probiotic, they are facing a pathogenic bacteria like salmonella and Shigella, Listeria monocytogenes, Vibrio, these kind of problems they are facing. So when in the pond, we are facing a lot of Vibrio problem, E. coli problem, and um, somewhere we are facing streptococcus. This kind of problem also we are facing. So I am telling is, these kind of bacteria should be eliminated from the environment. So when you are selecting the probiotic strain, you have to keep in mind that the pathogen, the list of pathogen should be eliminated. So accordingly, you can select the potential strain for your research. So it will play a main role in immune system also. Immune system, like cellular and humoral factors, and making the enzyme activity and keeping the immune system protected, and building the immune system in the body, and digesting the increasing the digestibility and nutrient utilization by giving the digestive product, producing the digestive enzymes, and colonization of beneficial microbes in the gut. These are all the very important. When you're doing research, you have to read a lot of articles about what are the what are the parameters of shrimp health, shrimp intestine. What is the pH of the shrimp intestine? What is the pH of the soil of the pond bottom? What is the pH in the water? What is the ammonia level, or whatever the other toxic gases level in the pond bottom? So the bacteria, the probiotic bacteria, whether you are going to choose as a gut bacteria, gut probiotic, or water probiotic, or soil probiotic, accordingly you have to select your uh, bacteria by checking all the physico chemical parameters. It should be tolerating in all the areas. Otherwise, which you are not checking and you are doing some research without that, definitely the probiotic, when it's entering to the pond system, it will die. It will not work in the pond. So selection criteria is very important during the probiotic selection, this potential strain selection. And here, mode of action probiotics in aquatic system. I told you the production of inhibitory substances is the main thing. And now there are a lot of research going on. Quorum sensing, like how it will you do the quorum sensing against the pathogenic bacteria, and interference with the quorum sensing. It's a big study. When we discuss about all this, sorry, quorum sensing and all, it will not take 1 hour or 2 hours. It will take more than hours and hours. So why I'm telling you is, if we talk about more deep, we will get confused. So my topic should be on the research oriented, and as well as it should be entrepreneurship oriented, and it should blow. It should make your mind to blow about thinking of aquaculture industry, how you can help the industry by coming by putting your sense of knowledge in science to bringing the industry in success way. So that is what I want to discuss with you. So competitive exclusions and improved immunity, these are all the main factors which will be same like human being, that we are focusing on aquaculture also when selecting the probiotic bacteria. For example, we are talking about probiotic bacteria. When you're going to the when you are sick, the first what will happen, you will get fever, you will get cold, you will get throat infection, or you will get whatever other symptoms, diarrhea or whatever it is. When you're going to the doctor, doctor will prescribe first antibiotic, or the uh, antibiotic doesn't know what is good bacteria, what is bad bacteria. So when you're taking antibiotic, definitely it will go and clear all the microbes in your intestine. So what will happen? Immediately you will get the loose motion, or you will get the stomach upset. So with that only, the doctor will prescribe, take this after meal, take this before meal, or take this lactobacillus porogens or some bacterial associated tablets they will give you. That also a probiotic only, that is in a spore form that they are giving, or in the tablet form. Okay, so why they are giving means to maintain the microbial balance in your intestine. Same here also in aquaculture, same digestion is happening, same animals are eating, same they are also doing excreta, same they are also in the condition where they are living in the pond bottom, and everything is same. So they also need benefit, they are also getting infected, they are also risk, and they also need beneficial microbes during their entire life cycle. So this is the simple concept. So I am telling you, this is use of daily probiotic based products in your life, in your food habit. It will keep you definitely healthy. Why I am telling you this is, when you are sick also, that time what doctor will prescribe you, eat this one, what you call bread. Why is prescribing bread? Bread has yeast also, right? So it will help you in maintaining your gut microflora. Same like here in aquaculture also, using of continuous use of soil probiotic, water probiotic, and gut probiotic will keep the environment, keep the animal, and keep the pond bottom, everything healthy. So from this, you can come out with all the pathogenic problems. So the effective use of probiotic is the timings, dosage, method of administration, and physiological condition need to be carefully considered. Yes, timing is very important. Some probiotics will not work in the daytime. You can't apply it directly in the 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the sunlight, during sunlight. So there are listed probiotics in all the products, depends upon the probiotic characteristics. They have mentioned in the label that this product is suggested to use at 8 a.m. or 7 a.m. before sunlight. You can see all that depends upon the probiotic characteristics. And method of administration may be different. If it is a soil probiotic, they will apply it by fermenting and they will give. And it's a water probiotic, they can apply directly also. And it is a gut probiotic, they have to mix with the feed supplement or the binder gel to with the feed. And so administration is totally different. And probiotics should be administered into the culture system before disease outbreak occur to reduce disease. Yes, I am keep on telling you, prevention is better than cure. So better from the day one of your culture, you can use probiotics to prevent from diseases. There are various ways to introduce probiotic into shrimp, such as supplement with feed. I told you, immersion, submersion, oral administration with the supplement. These are all the ways where you can mix your probiotic and feed your animals. Depends upon the time you are going to give, whether it is a curative time or whether it's a preventive time. So they will, the particular technical consultant will guide you how to prevent that, how to give that. Oral administration is considered as the most practical method for shrimp probiotics in terms of gut probiotics to maintaining the gut health. And probiotics can be used singly or in combination. In a combination will always work better, because it works as a mixture of probiotics and prebiotics. Prebiotics are nothing but giving before meal or before the probiotic applications. Prebiotics also a kind of bacteria, or it kind of a enzyme, it kind of a mixture of other things which is utilized by the probiotics. This is also a prebiotic mixture of we call it as a prebiotics. And probiotics based on a single strain are less effective than those based on the mixed strains. Yes, when it is a particular strain working in the pond is different. A combination of bacteria like lactobacillus, bacillus together, it is working in a different. For that also, as a scientist, as a researcher, we have to screen. Either we can think, sir, I have lactobacillus reuteri, I have lactobacillus casei, I have lactobacillus plantarum, I'm going to mix and give it to the animal. No, you can't give like that. First you have to do your research, or you have to do how many people have reported and what are the research going on about that, and how the antimicrobial or antibacterial activity between them. So all the three will produce three kind of antimicrobial compounds. So each will destroy each other. So we have to think about how these three are beneficial each together. So if all three are together, that kind of bacteria only you can combine together and give it to the animals or in the pond. So that kind of screening also very important in during the product management and the product development. Multi-strain and multi-species probiotic have also enhanced protection. Yes, a lot of people have reported that multi-species probiotics. I told you, Bacillus and Pseudomonas and Lactobacillus and other bacteria like Arthrobacter. This kind of bacteria also having more Vibrio also. Some of the Vibrio also probiotics they are saying, and some Vibrios also have been reported with the probiotics to keep the animal protected. As the aquaculture environment in a pond is constantly changing, so too will be in the need of constantly review and adapt probiotic treatments. Yes, whatever you do, today we are doing with the excellent product and coming to the market, that will that will not long last till next 4 years or 5 years. Definitely we need one more medicine. How we are struggling now, we have pox injection, we have dengue injection, we have malaria injection, that this everything, but still we are fighting against corona. Same like the novel pathogen also will keep on coming in the aquaculture system. So today we are developing some products against to the uh, bacterial, particular bacteria, pathogenic bacteria, or particular pathogenic uh, viral. But in future, we can't go with the same. Definitely, there will be a mutant, but definitely there will be a resistant. Definitely, there will be a updated one coming to attack you. So there will be a always a continuous research is need on probiotics and development of products in this industry. So some of the products which have been already some of the beneficial bacterial species already have been reported or been used in the markets are Lactobacillus helveticus, applied in some aquatic species, which is Scopothalamus, that is different species, and Bacillus macrobacillus rosenbergi, that is also a kind of a prawn, and Carnobacterium species that also used, and Lactobacillus acidophilus and Shivanella putrefaciens. These are all the products, some already some are probiotics which have been identified by a lot of researchers and have been applied in aquatic species. And potential bacteria identified as growth promoters. When you think about growth promoters, yes, all the bacteria will be working in a different style. I told you, some will be in pathogenic, preventing you from the pathogen. Some will be helping you in the immune system management or immune system buildup, or some bacteria will be helping you in growth promotion. Some bacteria will be helping you in pond bottom clearance. So in that category, as a growth promoter, Bacillus species have been reported in catfish and Phineas monodon, and Carnobacterium have been used, and Altermonas also, Lactobacillus also. Lactobacillus, there are a lot of Lactobacillus have been used in aquaculture. Streptococcus, Streptomyces, and Bacillus coagulans, even Nitrosomonas, Nitrobacter, that are all used in the pond bottom clearance and biodegradation. And pathogen inhibitor, when coming with Enterococcus is a very good bacteria, which is a very good bacterium. Sir, சொல்லுங்க. Sir, Mani sir, you are calling me. Hello, hello, hello. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You
So
can.
some Dr. Mani sir is calling me. Okay. Hello.
Sir, one of
Yes. Sir, சொல்லுங்க sir. Pathogenic inhibitor also there. There are a lot of bacteria has been reported by a lot of researchers which will inhibit the pathogens in the gut of the animal. And for water quality improvement, there are a lot of bacillus. I told you bacillus have been playing a very big role in water quality improvement, and because a lot of the bacillus have a good role in degradation of toxic gases, toxic pollutants, and ammonia, H2S, lot of gases which is, and biodegradable of organic matters in the pond bottom. So bacillus is playing a good role in aquaculture in terms of water quality improvement. So this kind of bacteria also already have been involved in shrimp aquaculture, and it has been isolated from, you can see, mangrove sediment, cabbage pickle, and shrimp gut, shrimp pond only. Mostly they are isolated from the different sources only. So bioremediation, we all know that is degradation of um, degradation of organic matters in the, which is in the present in the pond bottom. Bacillus, I told you, it plays a very big role in biodegradation. There is a very good bacteria in terms of soil and water probiotic. So we recently Clostridium also have been using for the immune response and inhibitor of pathogens. And Aspergillus oryzae, even though we are calling as a fungus, it is working very good in terms of producing the enzymes. Thiobacillus denitrifying the nitrogen cycle, using in the nitrogen cycle for the denitrification. and effect on feed waste, feces, feces waste, and organic matter decomposition, ammonia, nitrogen dioxide, hydrogen sulfate. There is all the problems in the eutrophication, pathogen diseases. These all problems in the aquaculture. With the beneficial bacteria, you can improve all these kind of problems. So almost these probiotics will helps you in improving the health status, eliminates pathogen bacteria. It will survive in extreme conditions and induces bioremediation. These are all the parameters you have to keep in your mind when you are selecting the probiotic. So the multi-strain, a consortium of microbes will always give you in a give you a different kind of output when it's coming to the aquaculture. So if your hobby is fishing or if you're ever doing fishing, the aquaculture is the big industry where you can do with your science, which is whatever whatever studies you are doing. If you're biotechnology or microbiology, you can put your sense. This is a big sector. You can make money out of it. Definitely, I'm telling you. So thank you, sir. Thank you for giving me opportunity. If I have 5 minutes, I would have been discussed more to the students.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much for the elaborate and very calm and explanative presentation. Uh,
Thank you, sir.
Now the session is open for question answer session. Participants, if you have any queries related to the topic, kindly post in the chat box, or if you wish to interact with the speaker, you can use the raise hand option. So you will be unmuted. Sir, shall we move to the question answer session, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm waiting.
Sir, there is a question from Mr. Gajanan. How much of total cost is for probiotics in shrimp farming? Whether the probiotic strain is isolated from native wild species could be beneficial for cultured shrimps. That is two questions. Like how much of total cost is the probiotics in shrimp farming? That is the first question, right?
So when you're talking about 1 acre of pond, almost you have to use for the entire culture, which is 4 months. On an average, you have to use around 5 to 6,000 rupees is the cost per year per acre, which is I'm telling you pond bottom, soil and gut probiotic all three together. You have to invest 5 to 6,000 rupees per acre for probiotics.
Okay, sir. The next question is whether probiotic strains isolated from native wild species would be beneficial for cultured shrimps.
Yes, from native wild species, maybe it will be coming from the ocean only, from the ocean. In native wild species, we are isolating any kind of bacteria. It with all kind of this kind of screening, if it is really showing a good pathogenic against to go pathogenic microbes, definitely it will be a good probiotic for the farming species.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, there is a raise hand from Ms. Subhashini Bhupati. I will
Yes, sir.
unmute her. Yeah, ma'am, please go ahead.
Hi, sir. That was a very informative presentation. Thank you for that. Actually, I kind of had this question in every probiotic presentation, but I never really got a very satisfying answer. So the thing is, what do you think is the effect of introducing a foreign species as a probiotic into any other cultured animal? Do you think it will affect the microflora of the animal, the native microflora of the animal? I feel it might affect. So I would like your views on that.
Yes,